or welcome back to the Embeemakes knitting channel. My name is Melissa and I'm the maker behind Embeemakes. You can find me here on YouTube as well as on Ravelry and Instagram as Embeemakes. And you can also find me on Knit and Note, which is an app that you can use to not to purchase patterns like Ravelry, but to use your patterns while you're knitting, and you can use it on your phone or your laptop, which I find really useful. I've used it for a few months now. You can follow me over there as well to keep track of where I'm at with my projects. Normally I make regular knitting podcasts, but from time to time I also throw in a special video, and this is one of them. Today I will be talking about fall knitting plans, because the end of August is almost here, and even though the weather has changed back to summer after a lot of rainy weeks, I'm ready to start knitting fall projects, and I want you to join me, but more on that later. Let's start. I have a few categories. I have a garments category, and then I have an accessory category, and then socks. So I have some swatches for all my garments, and I will go through them chronologically. So the first one I show I will cast on first. Probably it might change, but this first one I'm very certain of, and I will cast this on later this week. And this is the swatch for my Lyon sweater. If you've watched my podcast episodes before, you know this already, but if you're new here, this is my swatch for the Lyon sweater. I'm using Holst Garn Super Soft for both the main color and the contrast color. The main color is called Nougat and the contrast color Coral, I think. And I'm using a double strand, only using the Holst Garn Super Soft, so no mohair for this. I'm using the recommended needle size, and I got gauge. And with this Holst Garn, at first I found the fabric really loose and quite rough, but with washing and blocking it really softened up, and now it's nice and flowy. And I've also heard that with wear the fabric gets a lot nicer over time, which is also great, because I believe this will be a sweater I will wear a lot the coming years. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the Lyon sweater is a pattern by Petite Knit, and it's been really popular. It's released this year, and yeah, when I saw it I knew I wanted to make it. Also because I will be visiting Lyon in just over a week now, so I hope to work on it a bit when I'm there on holiday. So that's the first one. Then the second one has been on my list since last fall. It's a pattern by Adorable Knits, and she's a Belgian designer. And when I saw the tester call last fall, I applied for it, but I didn't get chosen. But I knew I wanted to buy the pattern when it released, so I did. And now I finally found the perfect yarn for it. And the pattern is called the Ginger Sweater. It's an all-over cable pattern. I will put up pictures here on the screen. And this is my swatch. I, of course, wanted to make a ginger, orangey colored ginger sweater. I found this. The yarn I'm using is Lang Yarn Smalou Light. And it's this nice and airy blow yarn. It has a similar feel to the Drops Air, which I've used before. I think it will be nice to knit with. So yeah, this is my my swatch with the cables and some other texture. So it will be a really lovely textured sweater. It's super light and soft. Don't know yet if I will keep the neck a sort of like turtleneck, I think it's called, or if I will fold it down, but I will just keep it a turtleneck to start with, and if I don't like to wear it like that, I will just sew it down. I fold it double and yeah, sew it down. So that will be no problem. So yeah, the ginger sweater. Then the next one is not a petite knit pattern, and I want to make the Stockholm sweater by Petite Knit, which is just a basic drop shoulder design, and yeah, it's just all over stockinette, which is something I'm looking for in my wardrobe, but I wanted to give it something special, so I went with a pop of color. This is just a tiny swatch to see if the yarn would work for it, if it's not too see-through, but I think it will be fine. So just a simple light sweater for when it's not too cold. I will of course wear something underneath this. I could wear it next to skin because it's just really soft. And the yarn I'm using, this pink yarn, is yeah, it's Svarta Faret Strong. Yeah, I don't really know how to pronounce it correctly. This is the yarn. I think I bought it from Edna Yarns, but I will link everything below. And the yarn is made of alpaca wool and polyamide. So yeah, and it's just really soft. I think it's the alpaca that makes it nice and soft. So this will be a Stockholm sweater. The next pattern that was in my knitting plans video for the entire year, and it's the Cargill sweater by the Crea Bea, Rebecca. And this is my swatch if you haven't seen that video. I will make it this beautiful mustard color, which I think is just perfect for fall. When I made my knitting plans video for the entire year, I knew this would be a fall knit. So yeah, looking forward to that. The yarn I will be using is Knitting for Olive Merino in this mustardy color. Yeah, it's called mustard. And then a matching mohair. I think this is a bit darker. I got one darker ball, so I use it to make my swatch. But it goes well together, but the other ones are more light. But if I don't have enough of the lighter mohair to go with this, I can use this for the collar and the sleeve, the cuffs. So yeah, we'll see. But it doesn't look too different. And yeah, it's again a nice soft swatch, but with the mohair it will be a lot warmer than like this, for example, which is a lot of lighter, airier, no mohair sweater. So this will be cast on a bit later in fall. I'm not sure if I will be able to knit all of these. Or yeah, maybe cast on all of them, but maybe not finish all of them. But we'll see. Plans might change. And the last garment is a cardigan, because one of my goals for this year was to knit some staple cardigans, which I already am knitting on the April cardigan in a nice brownie beige color. Be sure to check out my podcasts if you want to see that. But I got another swatch for a lighter and mohairy textured cardigan, which will be the Pippin cardigan by the Knit Pearl Girl. I'll hold it up closer. I'm not entirely sure what the stitch is called. I think it's some kind of seed stitch. Yeah, it's just made of knits and pearls. So yeah, this will again be a really nice cardigan. I will probably cast this one on alongside one of my sweaters, because I like to have a cardigan and a sweater on the needles, and then mostly an accessory or socks as well. So yeah, really looking forward to this. Yeah, this was also on my knitting plans video for the entire year. So if you wanna know some more, yeah, I will also talk about the yarn I'm using for this beautiful swatch. I'm using Filcolana yarns for this. Filcolana Arvetta as a fingering weight strand, and the Filcolana Tilia as the mohair, which makes a nice soft swatch. And I see fluff flying everywhere. So that's all for garments I want to make this fall. Let's now move on to accessories. And I already cast one of them on to try out, which is my first ever shawl, not counting the Sophie shawl, which is more of like a scarf to me, and which was a bit of a different construction. But my first like triangular shawl. And it's the Boneyard shawl by Stephen West. And for this I'm using some stash yarn. If you follow me over on Instagram, you will probably have seen this already. I'm using this yarn, which is Shadow from Veritas, which is a Belgian shop where you can buy yarn and accessories and other kinds of crafty stuff. And it's made of wool, cotton and polyacryl. But it's a nice and light, yeah, it creates a nice and light fabric, which I think is nice for a shawl, because it will be quite big. I do have, I think, 4 or 5 of these skeins. I bought them on a sale and I was thinking about making a sweater with it. But now I decided I wanted to make a shawl with this. And so this is what I currently have on my needles. It's a free pattern also, which is nice, and it has a video to go with it on YouTube. So yeah, I watched that to see how it was constructed, and I'm using the written pattern alongside. But yeah, once you get started, it's really easy. This is the front, and this is the back. It has some occasional rows of garter or of pearl bumps. The rest is just stockinette, and I'm doing the one with the yarn overs to make the increases, because yeah, this yarn is quite fuzzy and fiddly to make just regular increases. I think it's a left and a right leaning increases that's used. So I thought just do yarn overs. It'll give something special with the little holes, make it light and airy again. And yeah, it will just be easier, more mindless as well, because this is really a nice knit to just mindlessly work on. So yeah, I will just continue knitting on this until I run out of yarn. I don't know, maybe that will be too much. I'm still on the first skein, but it's growing quickly. So yeah, a really nice first shawl project, I think. and I'm enjoying it so far, so there might be other shawls in my future. And then for the last category, socks, I only chose one pattern at the moment because I want to focus a bit more on the sweaters and cardigans this fall. But maybe for October I'll do something special for socks, maybe do an entire week of only knitting on socks, we'll see about that. But the sock pattern I chose for this fall is the Joyce socks from the 52 weeks of sock book, which I have here. I've selected quite a few patterns in here. But yeah, I want to make the Joyce socks first. Really beautiful colorwork socks by Stone Knits. I've knit some of her patterns before. So yeah, and the yarn I want to use is from Olivia and Oliver Fibers. These have been in my stash, yeah, for not that long. I purchased them this year. But I think it will be a really nice combination. And I will use the light color as the main color and then this for the flowers. And I will definitely have leftovers so I can make something else, color work probably, or like an accent color for heel stones and cuffs with these. But that's my plan. So I totally forgot to tell you about the knit-along I will be hosting. So at the beginning of this video I told you that you can join me in starting to knit for fall. And that's why I wanted to create a little knit-along starting from today when you're watching this. Or like, yeah, today the 22nd of August. When this video will go live until mid-October, so around the 15th or something. I will put more exact dates below. And yeah, you can join me in knitting some fall patterns. There aren't really any specific rules. You just can cast on whatever you want, like garments or socks or an accessory, just to get ready for fall, so that they're ready when the weather gets colder. That's why we're starting now. So yeah, I will start with my Lyon sweater later this week. Or maybe I will cast on today. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But I will also post something on Instagram. The hashtag will be get ready for fall 2023 Cal. But I will put it here below and in the description box as well. So yeah, that way you can join in the knit-along on Instagram. Yeah, if you don't have Instagram, you can just let me know here below what you will be knitting on. There won't be any prizes, it's just something fun, knitting together, motivating each other to get our project done for when the weather gets cold. If you maybe also wanted to be added to a group chat on Instagram, I'm thinking about that as well. Because I've been in group chats before for a knit-along, and yeah, it's really fun to just let everyone know what you're knitting on, if you need some motivation, if you want some advice. So yeah, really the community feeling. And I think that we're at the end of this video already. It's a bit of a shorter one, but I really wanted to share my plans with you separately from my regular podcast videos, because otherwise it might be a bit too long. I hope you liked this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Will you be making any of the patterns I talked about today. What are your knitting plans? Maybe I will get some more inspiration and change my plans. I will also be filming a regular podcast episode before I leave on holiday, just to update you on what I've been working on, because I got a finished object and some good progress on my works in progress. And yeah, so be sure to check that one out soon. I hope you are having a lovely day and see you next time. Bye!